there's a certain kind of sweetness whenever evil people get their comeuppance. In this case, it's Julius Malema. Now, I do believe that Julius Malema is one of the biggest buffoons, but also one of the most evil people in South Africa. And it is his buffoonery that allows him to get away with his evil rhetoric. The fact that he sort of comes across as a low IQ moron allows him to say things like kill the boer, kill the farmer. It allows him to say things like we will slit the throat of whiteness. It allows him to say things like we're not calling for the death of white people, at least for now, and get away with it because people think, oh, it's just the buffoon Malema. But his followers, his supporters, the millions of voters that vote for the EFF, they don't think that he's a buffoon, and they know that it is not metaphorical. Anyone who thinks that they think it's metaphorical, you're lying to yourself. The fact of the matter is, they're singing that song because that is what they would want to do. That is what they're hoping will happen. My apologies for interrupting your viewing experience, but I just quickly need to ask you if you wouldn't mind just subscribing to the channel. There's over 60% of you that aren't subscribed and watching. It would help a ton. So please, can you consider doing that? And also, head over to Patreon for a complete ad-free experience, and you'll be supporting the channel. Anyways, bye. They know, however, that they don't necessarily have the power right now. They are about 10% of the entire population of South Africa, but that doesn't mean that all 10% of them will actually join in a war. Malema must know this. His own followers must know this. At best, they might be able to utilize around maybe half of their actual voter base to actually join the war. And they're not entirely necessarily, I don't think they're entirely sure that there will be enough others that join in. And so it might be very quickly a very losing war. But make no mistake, the second Julius Malema's base grows fast enough, and that's usually how it works with these populist leaders, what he wants is a big enough base. And his hope is that if South Africa continues to do as badly as it is, that his base will grow. And when he starts to hit around the 20% mark, the 25% mark of voters, you bet your ass that that song becomes a reality very, very quickly. Don't fall for the people that's telling you, it's just a metaphor. A metaphor for what? Taking a poo? It's not a metaphor. You're literally saying kill white people. That's it. That's literally what the words say. Anyone who pretends that that isn't what the words say, also they needs to explain why is it that you can't say a whole bunch of other things. Like, for example, I can't say that trans women are men, right? Because that's hate speech. According to most of you on the left, that's hate speech. How dare you? So trans women being men, oh, no, how dare you? But kill the boer, kill the farmer, yeah, that's just a metaphor. Get out of here. You and I both know that you're just talking out of your ass. But of course, Julius Malema being denied a visa, that's fun, right? And it sort of plays into exactly what I've just been talking about. Even the UK knows that this isn't just rhetoric. If they thought that it was just rhetoric, they would not have declined his visa. This is the second time that his visa has been declined. And they, of course, give a number of reasons. The first is his continued support of Hamas. Now, I want to make this super clear. If you're on the side of Hamas, if you think Hamas are the good guys in all of this, you're a moron. I'm not suggesting that you should think Israel are the good guys. But at best, the best that you can sort of come up with is that both sides are very, very evil and very, very bad. That's sort of the best way you can talk about it. If you want to talk about the people in Gaza, you want to talk about the civilians in Gaza, that's a different discussion. But that is not the discussion about Hamas or how evil Hamas is, because they are. And Julius Malema is accused in this days after the October 7th attacks. He was literally heard saying that if the EFF wins the national election in 2024, which thankfully did not happen, that he was going to arm Hamas and make sure that Hamas got the necessary equipment to fight for their freedom. During the same address, you state that Hamas had no option but to fight for their freedom. Additionally, in October 2023, this is sort of, I always find this like one of the most cowardly, but also intellectually bankrupt statements ever. So Hamas had no option but to fight for their freedom, and their fight for freedom is the very thing that you guys accuse Israel of. Whenever Israel is trying to fight Hamas and innocent civilians die in the process, You say Israel is evil and bad and should be destroyed. Yet, when Hamas fought Israel and didn't target military installations, but literally targeted civilians, you go, yeah, well, that's just all's fair in love and war, you know? That's just the price of doing war, bro. Well, to that, I would say, to all the innocent little children in Gaza dying, that's just the price of war. If one is good, the other is too. We need to be logically consistent in all of this. In April 2024, the EFF, the political party which you lead, posted on X that the Palestinian people have the fullest right to take up arms. So they go over a lot of things that Malema says in sort of defense of Hamas, and then they get into the other problem they have with this. The Home Office Secretary wrote, in 2016, you said that your political party was not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. In February 2022, you appeared at the South African Equality Court after previously calling for the slaughter of white people. During this appearance, the presiding judge requested that you never repeat such words in the future. You responded that, I cannot guarantee the future. I am not a prophet. I said that if the things don't change, there will be a revolution affecting us all. And that will include me and black people in suburbs. Those rising up from townships will accuse us of abandoning them in squalor and in poverty. We will be in serious trouble. It may not be me calling for the slaughter of white people, but it could be me, which will necessitate such a thing. I can't guarantee I can't or won't call for the slaughter of white people. But why would I make a pledge to say I definitely won't call for that? I won't do it. A lot of mumbo jumbo. Basically, Malema is allowing himself the future where he can say, let's kill white people. And then he says, when the time comes and the conditions on the ground necessitate that arms be taken up, we will do so without hesitation. I consider the above statements, in particular, the fact that you have justified the actions of a proscribed terrorist organization and stated your intention to support and arm them, mean your presence in the UK is not conducive to the public good. It's super important also to remember that this song was originally outlawed by the South African Constitutional Court, right? Said that it is indeed hate speech and therefore cannot be allowed. However, in 2022, after the complete corruption of the South African justice system, the Gauteng High Court judged that no, the song is not hate speech. And they said AfriForum had failed to prove Malema was inciting harm against white people. I guess calling for the killing of white people, that's not hate speech. Then you had the Supreme Court of Appeals that confirmed that it is not hate speech, with the Constitutional Court later saying it would not hear an appeal against the SCA's ruling. So in other words, basically killed it outright. We're not allowed to say anything. Black people are allowed to call for the death of white people in this country. Black people are allowed to sing and literally say that we're going to cut the throat of whiteness. Black people are allowed to say that we're not calling for the death of white people, at least for now. Black people are allowed to threaten white people in this country, and it is not hate speech. Were me and any other white person in this country doing the same thing, we would be locked up immediately. I mean, you had white people, someone like Penny, for example, Penny Sparrow, a now disgruntled realtor who literally just called them monkeys. And she was hounded for years by the legal system and ultimately found guilty multiple times, ordered to pay shit tons of money for hate speech because she referred to black people as monkeys. But calling for the death of white people, saying that white people's throats should be slit, saying that white people should be killed, but not yet, that's perfectly fine. Everything else is perfectly not fine. But, anyways, we're constantly just told we're imagining it. It's completely fake. It's completely made up. Of course, seeing the UK now also join President Trump in saying, sorry, mate, but we're not okay with the kind of stuff that you're saying, knowing that the South African government has up until now not condemned it, even after the United States made this a priority problem for them. The South African government has yet to condemn it. In fact, Cyril Ramaphosa has, right after the meeting with President Trump, defended Julius Malema, saying that, hey, he has the right to say whatever he wants, and freedom of expression is a fundamental core part of the South African Constitution, except, of course, if you're white, in which case you cannot express yourself in any other way except for the prescribed ways of the party. But if you're black, say whatever you want. It's a free country. Of course, not for everyone. But, let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this whole thing. Do you think that it's an absolute farce and bullshit? Or do you think it's fine? If you think it's fine, you deserve a snot clap, and every Afrikaner will know exactly what I'm talking about. As always, hit the like if you like this, if you didn't, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.